Sensational Scorpio. Well, I've got your horoscope here, but firstly what we're going to do obviously is draw the 2 tarot cards that we normally do. Let's go to the board now, and you'll see here there are no major aspect patterns, but there's a lot happening down the bottom of your chart. Sorry. And so this is saying basically that your personal life becomes more important to you rather than your external life up here above the horizon. So it's all about what's going on within and close to you. Let's draw these 2 cards. Firstly, closing my eyes, I see the pitchfork like the Neptunian pitchfork. So here's Neptune here in your 5th house of creativity and romance. This is going to be quite an important placement this month. And it is opposite the moon. The moon's here at 10 degrees 43. It's not really quite, it's 15 degrees, it's too far out. But the moon does travel very quickly, so it's at some point it will be opposite, and when it gets to 25 degrees, it'll be opposite, so that'll be in the next day, or probably the 2nd of January. And there could be some sort of subconscious thing coming up, or maybe a spiritual thing coming up between you and a friend, or you and another connection, or maybe in a group. So just watch for that. Sometimes it can indicate a lack of boundaries. You might say something comes up out of your subconscious, comes out your mouth before you have a chance to catch it. I know about that very well. So just be careful 2nd of January with that. So we'll get to these cards yet. And so I'm on a sailing ship. It is definitely about the subconscious because of all the ocean. It's very vigorous, the water, and you're cracking along at a very fast clip. However, it's sort of invigorating. It's not scary or anything like that. It's not dangerous. If you're careful, it's not dangerous. But there's a lot of energy coming from the subconscious. You have to be cautious because you could overdo things at the beginning of January, especially the first half of January, and exhaustion could be the result. So you really have to slow down. Maybe there's a lot of socializing. You have got Saturn there, so it's been restrictive in terms of you socializing and having fun. Maybe there's been things going on in the home where people are coming and going, and so there is some sort of socializing, but you can't really enjoy yourself because you've got too much to do. Saturn is limiting you having fun, basically. So just be cautious, very cautious you don't overdo things, do too much in the first half of January. 2nd half of January for you, dear Scorpio, what do I see? Oh my gosh, what? It's like the moon. It's a crescent moon, but it's a lemon. So a lemon, a slice of lemon. Yeah, it could be a little bit if you eat lemons. They tend to be sour. Some people eat them with salt for fun. I don't know why. So it could be leave a bitter taste in your mouth if you're not careful at the beginning of the month. What might happen is you get tired and you say something you don't mean. So please take time out and look after yourself instead of looking after hordes of people that may come around. Let's see what card we get. Hopes and dreams, the 9 of Cups. Send out your desires to the universe. They hear everything you say, everything you think, and generally the energy that you put out there. So if you're putting out exhausted energy, that's probably not going to help you get what you want in life. It's important to be practical, keep your feet on the ground, to take appropriate action, but be in touch with your subconscious. And you are, as a Scorpio, you're very sort of deep sign, very much in touch with the water, a watery sign, and your emotions as well. So this is about your hopes and dreams. You might change them in some way, reformat your hopes and dreams, and become a little bit more practical about them. But of course, I keep coming back to this because I know, especially people like that are, say, mothers, for example, always tending to the needs of others, and it's just really driving home to me. I've done this for the 1st of January, and it is a template for the rest of the year, basically. So you don't want to start the rest of the year with this vibe. And of course it can be avoided just with a few common sense, simple things like taking time out in the morning, get up, go for a walk away from everybody so that you don't have to deal with everything straight up, and gradually ease yourself into whatever might be happening with other people. I see a big key around that, so that's saying to me that that is key importance. All right, now I'm just going to make this a bit bigger, like that. Bear these cards in mind. A lot happening here in the western side of your chart, suggesting things are coming to a natural closure about something, whereas this is the eastern side. These are new beginnings, new births, and there's a great big huge lot of energy that was there on the east and now is making its way around the chart. But we're having a party in your 3rd house of communications in January. Lots of energy going on. You may hear from people that you haven't heard from for ages, or distant relatives, or maybe even siblings or cousins that you don't get on with. There could be some thawing of the ice there. So new moon in Capricorn on the 11th here. Also in Capricorn there's a lot. We've got Mars going in on the 4th. We've got Mercury going in on the 13th. We've got Venus going in on the 23rd. Woohoo! And Pluto moving out on the 20th. I'll talk about that in a moment. With all of this energy, there is bound to be heaps of communications, heaps of transactions. You could be shopping a lot still, even in January, even though Christmas is over. There is a movement in Australia. A lot of people, they tend to shop after Christmas with the January sales. I don't know if that's the case in other countries, but there does look to be a lot of transactions involving money as well. Then the other things this house can relate to is also promotion and marketing. If you're in business, you may have had your break, your holiday break, and now you come back to work and you're more interested in promoting and marketing the business. It's also learning, maybe not formal courses, but learning new techniques, new processes and things like that to do with your normal everyday life. It's not necessarily learning for work, it can be, but not necessarily. It could be more just learning things for your own natural self, or things around the house and whatever. Things come up all the time and I think, oh, I didn't know that, and it's something to do with the house. And we're having a lot of terrible storms here on the Gold Coast, and we haven't had power for 3 days, but electrical power for 3 days. But we do have a generator, so we're running that. That's how I'm doing this video for you. And there's lots of things about that I don't know and I need to learn. So yeah, go for all the learning you can. Now, with regard to the Sun and Pluto going into Aquarius, here in your house of home and family, with the Sun, there's a sense of insight and awareness, happiness even. You could be really happy having your family around you, and a sense of stability. And the 4th house is often about roots, ancestral roots even, and you might have a sense of your family over time going back generations. With Pluto going in here on the 20th, it will be here until the 1st of September. Then it will go back into Capricorn until the 19th of November, and then it will come back here to home and family until March 2043, which is almost 20 years. Pluto is all about restructuring whatever it is, wherever it is. So it's here in home and family, so this is what's going to be restructured. Sometimes new people could come into your family over that time. Even if you don't have children, you might meet other people that are casual acquaintances that become friends, who then become closer and closer, and they become like family. Also, because it is like this sense of roots is associated with it going back, you might restructure your own family tree going back over time. You might become aware that there's a pattern in your family that needs to be restructured. For example, it could be about women becoming more independent. And as you look back over your family tree, you see that women have been more submissive, and now you're determined that that's not going to be you. So you're going to change your life and heal your family tree, in fact, through your actions, because we all know that spirit exists outside time and space. So even though these things may have happened hundreds of years ago, we can still heal the family tree now and make it easier for our relatives that are on the other side. So that's a bit exciting, isn't it? The other thing to note is that Uranus is going direct, and I forgot to put the arrow. Uranus is going direct on the 27th of January in your house of committed relationships and important partnerships. So there could be some sense of the surprising happening, or some sense of something that is unpredictable in your relationships, or also to do with any legalities you might have, and frenemies or open enemies. You don't get on with them, but that's how it is, and they're there in your life in some fashion. But with Uranus, it really throws the cat among the pigeons. So we don't know what's going to happen. Doesn't mean it's negative. It can be positive, because it could cause a great big kerfuffle that gives a positive result. So if there's been a wall of ice between you and another person, it could melt, for example, and somebody might offer an olive branch. Anything is possible with Uranus, which has a very elliptical orbit. So in ancient times, they couldn't even see that far. They really could only see as far as Saturn. So Uranus is a relative newcomer. But this unpredictable nature of the orbit has really only become known in more recent times. So that's it for your horoscope. Oh, and the full moon, I didn't get to mention, it's up here in Leo in your house of career. So there's a real spotlight being shone on your career, your public life, your social media, your reputation status, and your interactions with authority figures. So authority figures could be like your boss, but it can also be like somebody like a parent, particularly your mother. Traditionally, this is the house of the mother. And so this focus, it could be a bit of a shake-up, and then you have to look at this relationship, and it may need healing, which you will be able to do with your many skills and talents, and just the energy of bringing your awareness to the situation could be healing in itself. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, check out your moon and rising sign as well. Have a wonderful January. It's very exciting, actually, even though sometimes people get a bit nervous, and I understand why, with Pluto, but it does mean fixing up all of the old structures that need to be fixed. So I do feel rather sort of excited, even though we might not necessarily know how these things occur, but they do occur. All right, have a great month, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.